Good afternoon, everyone. It's Wednesday, the 16th of August, 2023. Sorry I'm late, so we'll start with Billy. So, Bill, brother in Benin, says that he's been out with his team and they've been doing some outdoor marketing. And that's really good because with the sessions that we've had so far, I've been working on the assumption that Bill was going to be doing most of the selling and marketing by himself. So it's good that he has a team behind him. Oh, by the way, apologies for the background noise. The rain is really torrential right here in Abuja. So, yeah, you might hear some of that coming in through the background. So, sales and marketing are a team sport, and it's a good idea to not go out solo if you can when you're going on these sorts of things. But it would be nice to know, Bill, who is on your team, how did you guys meet? And it would be nice to know some more about the structure of how you guys handle your sales calls. So, does everybody go to the same building site or the engineer's office, and does everyone have a part during which they talk during the presentation, or you guys all drive up to one location? Maybe you all drive up to one development plot or something. Then all of you split up and then go to the different building sites, talk to the different engineers, things like that. Then you converge at the end of the day, and then everybody goes home. So it'd be nice to know. It would be nice to know what kind of setup you guys have, and then let me know some more about the difficulties that you guys have been facing, so that we can talk through some of them. Now, Billy also says that it's really stressful, but he's been seeing some results. So if you let us know what the results are, that would be helpful. Even if you don't see any results, you have to admit that it's kind of motivating when you go out, you start talking to people, and you realize that your fears are unfounded. You talk to the first person, most people are polite, nobody shouts at you, nobody kills you, no door is slammed in your face, nobody calls the police, and you see that it's not really that bad. So you can go out and promote your business, and it's not something to be that afraid of. Well, but just be mindful, once in a while you run into some crazy people. I've been shouted at a few times over the phone, but very few times, I think maybe two or three. And I've been taking active approaches to promoting my businesses and other things that I'm involved in with other people. And I've only been shouted at over the phone over two or three times. But those are really crazy stories I can tell you about. I can tell you about them some other time in the future. So, he's been seeing good results. I'm sure it's really motivating that everything is going according to plan, even if nobody has bought yet. So that's good. I'm glad that Bill has bought the bullet, and he bit the bullet, and he has gone out and is making the sales calls. Now, Bill also mentioned that he has met competition on the road while going out, and because of that, he's glad. And I'm good. I'm glad that all these things. Most people would think meeting competition out on the road actually is a bad thing, but I'm glad that Billy thinks it's a good thing, and it actually is. Now, this is the reason why meeting competition is a good thing. When you're trying to step out new into an industry, because I suspect that smart devices, security devices, automated devices, security devices, I'm assuming it's a new thing, because I have a few friends, we go to people's houses, and let's face it, the average Nigerian, at least in Abuja anyway, some of the houses I go to, the average Nigerian's house is not full of smart devices, security devices. Well, I know some people who have security cameras in the house just to make sure that the house girl is not misbehaving when mommy and daddy are out, and that everything is okay. So security cameras, yes, 3 or 4 people maybe, but the average house does not have security devices, smart devices, automated devices, and those sorts of things. So I think it's a new industry. So when you're heading out into a new industry and you are meeting other people out on the field, it actually is a good thing, because that means that the market is now getting more educated and more aware of your product or your service. It really sucks to head out and try and sell something when nobody knows what it is, nobody knows how it is of value, and basically you're the first man on the street or the first woman on the street. But if there's already word out there and people are aware, then actually it's a good thing. It makes the process of selling easier, because there is some familiarity to your product or your service, and people can get a sense of what the value proposition might be. Now, this is the challenge. if other people are running around trying to sell the same thing that you sell, because let's face it, security devices are going to be different in specs and maybe country of origin or manufacturer of origin, but essentially all these things are going to be the same in a sense. So the challenge now is we have to look for ways to differentiate yourself, to distinguish yourself from the competition, or else it ends up being about price. You head to one building site, you see that the competition has just left, and because they're trying to get the deal, maybe they have undercut you guys. Maybe the smart energy saving light bulbs usually go for 1008 for one. They know that you're around the area, so they're trying to undercut everything. So they tell the guy that, you know what, we'll do it for 1720, knowing that everybody else is going to sell it for 1008. And then you come in and you're trying to now undercut the price. And the thing is, if it becomes all about price, then that makes you guys a commodity. And once you guys become a commodity, then there's not going to be any customer loyalty. The site engineer, since the bulbs are all interchangeable and they're the same company, he will just play off you guys. He will collect the price of 1720 from them. You might discover that, okay, the price thing seems to be working, and then you come back next week and then you offer 1680, and then maybe you might get the deal, and then the competition might now tweak their own where they get supplies and things like that, and maybe they might come back, and since you're offering 1680, they might now offer 1550 or something like that. So anyway, don't get involved in all those games. We have to look for ways to differentiate yourself from the competition, and that is why I like what Billy has been saying so far about building rapport and building a relationship, because rapport and relationship actually is one of those distinguishing factors, because people like doing business with people that they know, that they like, and that they trust. So it's understandable why Billy has been checking in on the group, because field work, outdoor marketing and prospecting can be very tiring. So I understand that you come back and you don't want to check the group and see what the messages are. So it's perfectly normal. But then again, that's why this whole thing has been set up the way it is. So you come in, attend to it whenever you want to attend to it. It's perfectly fine. That's the whole point of this text-based coaching. Okay, so Billy has been creating good relationships and he has set up meetings, but he has an urgent call and then he has to travel. So he's wondering whether to postpone the meeting or to send a team member. Now, it's good to hear about the meetings that you've been setting and that you're making progress, because remember, we started off this journey with trying to see if we could get 5 people on the list. We had 2 site engineers. Wanted to see if we could get, you were talking to 2 development companies, I think, and I can't remember who the extra one person was. So it's nice to see that you're setting up meetings and then you're making progress. Now, if you're not able to make the meeting, you always have to communicate it with your prospects immediately. So if you found out today, as in today, this morning, that you can't make the meeting, and they say the meeting is scheduled for 3 days or something, you want to make sure that you communicate it to them today, not on the day of the meeting or the day before. Well, if you find out the day before, there's nothing you can do about that, but you communicate as soon as you know you're not going to be able to make the meeting. And it's not just for meetings. Anything that is tied in with product fulfillment, you let them know as soon as you're not able to meet deadlines and timelines. So even when you seal the deal with any of them and you agree, for instance, that you're going to send smart bulbs, you're going to send them 90 smart bulbs by January 30. If by January 14th something has happened, maybe there's a strike in Bangladesh where you're getting all these things, and so the bulbs are not able to be shipped from Bangladesh, you need to be able to communicate with them immediately. Like, hey, look, I know I promised you guys 90 bulbs by January 30th, but there has been a strike in Bangladesh where the bulbs are coming from. If the bulbs do not leave by January 18th, we can't meet that January 30th deadline. So, guys, I'm sorry. It looks like there's going to be some delays, but please give me a few days. Let me communicate with our suppliers. Let me see what we're trying to do to solve this problem. I beg, no vex. So that's the best way to go about it, rather than keeping quiet, twiddling your fingers, getting worried, and then January 30th comes and they are wondering, we said we were going to hear from Bill by this time, but Bill hasn't been in touch. What's happening? They're calling you or you're calling back, or you're switching off your phone, that just leaves a really bad impression. So immediately there's going to be a missing deadline. Immediately, you let the person know right away. So my question is, are you going to be away for a long time? If you're going to be away for a long time, a week, 2 weeks, then maybe send your associate or your teammates just so that you don't lose traction on this deal that you've gotten going on so far. Because if you hook up a meeting with someone, the person says Monday, you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't make it," and then you try and reschedule for 2 weeks. It might take some steam, it might take some enthusiasm out of the whole process. It might remove some motivation from the process. But if you're going to be away for a short period of time, if you're going to be away for 3 days, maybe 1 week max, I think it might be a good idea to show up yourself, because it is you that has built rapport with these site engineers. It will make the sales process go a whole lot smoother if you are the one who's been building rapport, and then you show up at the meetings. At least show up at the meeting with this other person, so that the other person becomes a familiar face. Then maybe later on you can hands off to the person, but you've built the rapport for now. So it actually is a very good thing. It will make the process run smoother if you show up and pick up with the same level of one-on-one relationship and rapport that you have built with these people. Because if you build the rapport, and then even though you're going to be back in 3 days or 4 days, you send somebody else, and there's that awkwardness, that early awkwardness of two new people trying to build rapport again and things like that. It might just if you don't have a choice, you don't have a choice, then send somebody else. But if you're going to be back in a couple of days, you have established rapport, so go. It'll make things go a whole lot smoother. So, summary of my questions to Bill. When you guys go out as a group, do all of you head to one office? Do all of you head to one development complex? Do all of you head to one site, and then you guys have different parts of the presentation that you're handling? Or is it that all of you go to one area, everybody gets out of the car, and then you send them off, like, okay, you go to the building site that is over here, you go to building site that is over here, you tackle this office, you tackle that office, and then you guys hook up later on. Let us know what's the setup. Then for your trip, are you going to be away for more than 4 days? Are you going to be away for a week? Are you going to be away for more? If you let me know, we'll know how I'll be able to advise accordingly. So either way, good work, Billy. It's nice to see the progress that you're making so far. Keep it up.